Good evening, everybody. It's 6:31, July 14th, and I'm calling the meeting of the trustees to order. And there it is. I'm just going to read our notice and disclaimer. For the safety of all attendees, the meeting of the Board of Trustees will be hosted electronically with Zoom meeting. All members of the public are actively encouraged to... Is that the part I'm supposed to read?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. All members of the public are actively encouraged to attend and may do so by using any electronic device with internet access, including personal computer, tablet, smartphone, etc., by dialing in with telephone.
You want to skip down to that next paragraph. Sorry.
I think...
You want me to read it?
Please, because I don't think I have the whole paragraph.
One moment.
Oh, I found it. This meeting is being recorded. Got the right one, thank you. This meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Enosburg Falls is being conducted electronically in order to ensure the safety of all attendees and to maintain compliance with Governor Scott's Executive Order 120 and H 681 signed into law on March 30th, 2020. Per H 681 Section 6, there's a temporary suspension of designated physical meeting location requirements, the Vermont's open meeting law. In order to ensure that all attendees can hear clearly, your audio has been muted. When you wish to speak, please raise your hand by submitting a chat request or, if you call in, by pressing 9. Once acknowledged by the chair, please clearly state your name and then proceed with your request or comment. Please remember that when unmuted, all participants can hear any sounds in your environment, so please help to ensure there's no excessive environmental noise. By default, your video is disabled. If you wish to be visible to other attendees, you may turn your own video on by clicking the video icon. Again, this meeting is being recorded. Now we're going to move to roll call. So when prompted, please state your first and last name. Jason?
Jason Lawrence.
Cindy?
Cindy Miner.
Leonard?
I think we've got a technical problem with Leonard. It looks like his audio hasn't been joined.
I can see him, but I can't hear yet.
Your audio is not yet activated, Leonard.
Shall I keep going on while he tries?
Yep, we'll come back around.
So Heather Moore present. We'll go through with members of the village and the public. Matt?
I think he just called Leonard.
Sorry, I'm trying to get some folks unmuted here.
Okay. So who else we have? We have Gary Denton.
Gary Denton.
I see Sean.
Here.
Okay, and Jim Cameron's.
Yep. Hi, everybody.
Okay. John Elwell.
John Elwell.
Okay. We're still waiting on Leonard with the sound. So hopefully Leonard can get the audio fixed.
Is he ordering takeout or is he? And if so, I'll take the Kung Pao.
Sounds good. Yeah. Technology, it's a good thing, but it can be challenging.
Maybe just needs to turn the volume up.
I do wonder if his headset's muted. But sure, Matt's troubleshooting that with him.
Yeah, it says it's not. Usually, you get the microphone with the red slash through it if
Microphone's
you're
not even
muted.
showing.
Would that happen even if our headset itself mutes? I'm not too familiar with these. Should we keep waiting for him?
Well, why don't we give him a minute?
Okay, another minute. Okay.
I'll go check with Matt and see if he thinks he's making progress or not. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks. Leonard's going to try and connect from a different device. He'll join us momentarily.
Okay.
We're okay to go ahead with the agenda.
Okay. So agenda item number 1, are there any modifications or changes to the agenda?
He's working on it.
I guess that would be no.
Okay, looks like no. Okay. I don't remember. We don't do a motion for this. We just move on. Okay. Okay. Item number 2, public comment. Is there any public comment for this evening? No? Okay. Leonard, are you with us? He's muted.
1 second. Leonard?
Can't hear you, Leonard. We are on an old cell phone commercial right now. Okay, item number 3, review and approval of the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to go over the minutes?
Yeah,
Yes.
motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I second that.
So there was a motion made by Jason and a second by Cindy. All approved say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone approve say nay? Okay, so the motion's been approved. Item number 4, the hydro facility footage bridge replacement bids.
So I can speak a little bit to this, and then we've got Gary Denton here, our Director of Public Works as well. So in your package, you'll find a memo from Gary with several bids from contractors that were contacted to look at this project and submit some bids to us. So we received 3 bids on this. The lowest bid was from Fairbanks Mill at an amount of $14,790. So Gary, do you want to continue that conversation?
No, I think Matt could go on that. Or I think we carried, John, only $10,000 in our budget on that bridge. So it's over our amount that we allotted for that bridge. So I don't know if we want to go with that or see if we can talk to the lower bidder to see if we can somehow reduce that price by changing something on it. I guess I need to talk to people about that. I'm not sure. I know I talked to Matt earlier today. You have any input, Matt?
I actually have a question before we get into all of that. I read through all 3 bid proposals.
Yep.
And the lowest one is the only one that actually stated installation.
Yep.
So is it a reputable company? Because
Yes,
the,
yes,
the other builds are thousands of dollars more and they only provide the stuff. They don't
Yeah.
do any of
Um,
the actual work.
we've used them a lot for our trash racks. They've done a lot of our village hydro projects. They do all our diver work. Matt we've used them for quite a few years.
Okay. I was just wondering why they were so low and doing more work.
Yeah, I was
think-
wondering that too.
I think they do a lot of work for us.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, but Gary does bring up, an interesting point where through the budgeting season, back in December and January, we were unsure how much it would cost to actually replace the footbridge. That was a discussion that took place late during the budgetary discussions, and we decided to throw a figure in there without really a lot of research on it of $10,000, not knowing, whether that was going to be an adequate amount or not. But we sort of thought, well, at least it's a placeholder. We've got something there, and we'll just have to see what the bids come in at. So we have a bid, a low bid from a good contractor that the village has a long history with concerning work on our hydro facilities. Fairbanks Mills is out of St. Johnsbury, if you guys are unfamiliar with them. So they're a Vermont company. But they're still $4,790 over what we had budgeted in the electric department budget to replace that footbridge. So, we would have to have the board allocate another $4,790 out of the electric department budget.
Well, I'm assuming that should be okay. I know Matt's not with us at the moment.
I got it.
According
Oh,
to
I
our
heard Leonard.
financials and stuff, we're actually under budget so far this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It may work.
Okay, thank you.
are you talking to us, Leonard, or to someone else?
I think he's being walked through getting the audio.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
Pause for a
Okay.
second and get Leonard in. Hi, Leonard.
Hi.
Hi, can you please, welcome to the meeting. Can you please state your name and that you're present?
Yeah. Leonard Sharon, present.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, Cindy, I feel confident in saying the electric department could handle an additional $4,790 in their budget if the board wanted to allocate that additional amount to support replacing the footbridge.
Okay. So it sounds like if you want to move forward this, it would be two motions or
Yeah,
one motion with a caveat.
Right, exactly. So a motion to, well, you could do it as one. You could do a motion to approve the low bid from Fairbanks Mills at $14,790 and to also allocate another $4,790 in the electric department budget to cover the costs of that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I motion that we adopt the bid of the lowest, what is it, Fairbanks Hills?
Fairbanks Mills.
Mills, yes, thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, is this a motion with the additional $4,790?
Yes.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Heather, can you give me who had the first and the second on that, please?
Cindy had the first, Jason had the second,
Thank you.
and we lost Leonard.
Okay.
Oh, wait, he's back. Where's Waldo?
Enosburg Triangle.
Yeah.
Leonard, are you able to unmute?
He's muted still.
Leonard, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
There you go.
Am I
Don't touch any more
unmuted?
buttons, Leonard.
You are unmuted.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you, Leonard. Yay.
Don't touch any more buttons, Leonard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a motion to approve the bid with the increase of $4,790 to be all just to verify all those who approve say aye.
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 Okay. Those who oppose say nay. Okay, it's been approved. It's been passed, yeah. Okay, item number 5, the Orchard Street Water Tower Road wastewater stormwater repair bids.
So Wayne Elliott, our engineer for our water and wastewater services, was supposed to be here. Oh, I just saw his name flash up. There it is. Good timing, Wayne. Just got to item number 5, the Orchard Street Water Tower Road stormwater repair bids. So you're right on time. Do you want to speak to those?
You have the floor, Wayne.
Oh, sorry.
Eh, He didn't want the floor. He just muted it again.
Yeah. So I guess, John, you want to start with the Orchard Street Water Tower Road?
Right. So we just actually got to that right when you came on, so that was good timing. So if you want to pick up on that one, where we haven't even really started the conversation. You came on right when we went to that item, so take it away.
Yeah, so we went to bid, and fortunately, the bid
I
climate.
can't get online out here. I can't get online.
So the Orchard Street Water Tower Road project on Orchard Street that consists of replacement of a portion of the existing sewer line, some north storm drainage, and then a Water Tower Road replacement of a section of existing sewer line. Went out to bid, opened bids on that last week. Great interest from contractors. I think we distributed about 11 or 12 sets of plans on that. Had very good attendance at the pre-bid meeting. The engineer's estimate was about $200,000, and you got 5 bids. They ranged anywhere from $151,633 up to a little over $224,000. DCS, or DeRoche Construction Services, out of Jeffersonville was the apparent low at $151,633. The bid they submitted was complete, so we recommend award to DeRoche Construction Services.
Wayne, are you confident that they can do what they say they're going to do in the time allotted?
Yes. The contractors are really looking for work right now. A lot of these guys that got into the private work, typically in a normal year, no. Most of these guys are very, very busy. They have a solid backload. Very tough to put something out to bid in the summer, but unfortunately with the COVID, a lot of the private work, some various projects have been put on hold. So by the numbers of contractors that were interested in the competitive pricing, a lot of guys are looking for work late summer and early fall.
Great.
Just finished a job over here in Colchester, and he has several of his employees live up in your area, so he goes at that type of work up there very aggressively, so they can work closer to home. We've worked with him on several projects. He can get bonded for any of the state, municipal work that we do, and I've had very good luck with him.
Okay, thank you.
And he's done a lot of work in Enosburg too, Cindy. He's done some projects here in Enosburg. I believe it was School Street and a couple other projects.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, then I guess
I would
sorry.
offer for the board's information as well. The original budget for this project was actually broken into 3 phases. Was a total of $170,000. So that low bid is got some considerable room in the original budget value for these projects.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Somebody make a motion?
I'll motion to approve the bid.
Motion made by
Sure.
Jason. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Leonard?
Seconded by Leonard. Okay. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. The motion has been approved to go with the bid. Oh, sorry, I lost my page. Was it Fairbanks?
Say just DCS. DCS.
DCS. Okay. Okay, so the motion has been approved to go with DCF for the Orchard Street water tower. Okay. So we're moving on to item number 6. Wastewater CSO level monitoring small purchase number. There was one bid.
No, that's just what we're calling it, small purchase number 1.
Small purchase number 1. Yeah.
So, and that is to you again, Wayne, if you want to review those.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Thank you. So basically, this is part of the combined sewer overflow. It was one of the recommendations in the long-term control plan. The state pays 100% through a form of loan subsidy for the equipment installation and setup. An application was submitted to the state back in February for up to $10,000, and that included the budget for the equipment installation and some engineering. The state does require that this go out to bid to at least a minimum of 3 vendors. It's very, very specialized. So we sent that out and only got 2 bids back. And after that, we received the bids. We did submit to the state a recommendation or concurrence for award, and we did receive that in affirmative. So at that point, it was ready to go to the village and the trustees for your consideration. Our recommendation is to award to Champlin Associates. They were the apparent low, and also the village preferred their equipment that they're supplying. Their bid was for $4,450.57. So there's plenty of room in the $10,000 ask for, which includes the equipment and also a small piece of the engineering.
This is another one where there was a big difference between the 2 bids. Trying to find that page.
Yep. It's a good question. The equipment isn't quite exactly the same. It's tough because this is a very specialized, there's only 3 vendors that really can provide a similar type of equipment. Champlin Associates is located in Essex, and they have what they call a mission unit, which does the telemetry. That does the communication from the level device. So it's all web-based. The village is familiar with that equipment, and we've also worked with this on several projects. So they just put similar equipment in Newport City within the last couple months. So we're very comfortable with what they're proposing, that it's going to work and it's going to be reliable.
Okay.
And again, to remind the board, this is going to be funded through a 100% loan forgiveness program with a revolving loan fund. So in effect, it's a grant to the village to install this equipment.
Very nice. Very good. Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve this purchase?
A motion to approve, Cindy?
Okay, Cindy made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Leonard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say nay. Okay. The motion has been approved for the purchase.
Okay. Thank you. Good night. I think I'm all set. Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 7, the Vital Village scoping study RFPs.
board will recall that we put together a committee to review proposals from engineering firms regarding the next step in the Vital Village program, which was to do a scoping study and hopefully get at least some of the engineering done on 4 different parts of what was recommended in the SE Group Vital Village project conclusions last spring. So we put this out to public bid. We received 2 bids from 2 engineering firms. One was Dubois and King, or Dubois and King, some people say, and the other was Stantec Consulting Services. The committee that was doing the evaluations, which was the 4 people on the committee were myself, Matt Miner, Director of Finance, Sean Caio, the Town of Enosburg Development Director, and Gary Denton, the Village Director of Public Works. So those were the people that were on the committee to review these engineering proposals. You'll find a summary in your packet of the proposals and the recommendation from the committee. And we didn't put all of the proposals in your packet. They were, quite large, probably 60 to 70 pages each. So, but we did take out some relevant parts of the proposals and put them in your packet. So you could see some parts of it and what it looked like. The committee, after reviewing the 2 proposals, having a meeting and a long discussion about them, also ranked each of the proposals. We had scoring sheets, and Dubois and King came out a little bit ahead in the rankings. They were close. Both engineering firms put together good proposals. We had a very robust discussion about the 2 proposals, but Dubois and King's did rank higher in a number of areas. As well, their bid amount was a little less than Stantec's, as well, as you see in the summary there. So Dubois and King's bid amount came in at $37,282. Stantec's came in at $40,000. So again, very close, but Dubois and King was also a little less money. So those 2 factors of the committee having an overall higher rankings for Dubois and King's proposal, and then Dubois and King also having a slightly smaller dollar amount on their bid submittal, had the committee ranking Dubois and King as the better proposal, and the committee is recommending to the Board of Trustees an approval of Dubois and King's proposal at $37,282.
If I could add to that, the board might remember that this is funded through a grant with V-Trans Bicycle and Pedestrian for up to $40,000 with a 20% village match.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So what I'm kind of getting out of the pros with this is that with Dubois and King, you really got a pretty good sense of their vision with this project through their proposal, with the detail that they provided.
Yeah, as I said, neither proposal was, like head and shoulders above the other. They were both good proposals, and I don't want to, speak badly of Stantec's proposal in any way, because they also submitted a good proposal. But when we went through all the rankings on the individual areas that we were scoring the proposals on, Dubois and King did come out a little bit higher. And so, that coupled with the fact that their bid was also lower, it's kind of made the committee feel like, well, that's the recommendation. to make then. But yes, overall, we felt Dubois and King gave a clear proposal, a precise proposal that was understandable. They had good experience within the staff that they had put together that will oversee this project. And yeah, we felt most comfortable with D&K's proposal. So Matt and Gary, you guys were both on the committee as well. If anything more you'd like to add on that, I'm sure the board would be interested to hear.
No, I agree with you, John. They're close. I mean, I've worked with both of them as a contractor back when I was back on the dark side.
So how much weight, Stantec having worked on the village plan with SE Group, how much weight would that hold? Like, was it?
So the scoring sheet was broken down in a number of categories, one of which was having a good understanding of the proposed project as defined by the grant application. I would say that both vendors did an equally adequate job of addressing the scope of work and an understanding of existing conditions and how to evaluate those. So although Stantec has some existing knowledge of the Vital Village plan, having worked with SE Group, it didn't appear through their proposal that it made a significant difference in terms of their ability to address the project. The other thing that I would say about the two projects, two proposals, is that Dubois and King also had a slightly shorter estimated time frame to completion, which was also an advantage.
Sean,
And more hours, I would add as well. They had more staff hours written into the project. So, you know, that was kind of interesting to compare the two when you looked at the schedule and the number of hours, staff time hours that they were going to put into the projects. And that was one of the areas that Dubois and King ranked higher, was they had more staff hours into the project and a shorter schedule to do it.
I know Sean's on the call as well with audio, so I don't know if Sean has anything to add.
I think you guys covered it really well. Between my two evaluations, I think I had mine scored the closest. I think mine was within 5 points difference. As Jonathan said, they were there really wasn't one that was, you know, significantly better than the other. But just a few small points that the guys have already covered that I agreed with, and my score came out for D&K as well.
okay, are there any more questions on this? Can we go to a motion?
Motion to go with D&K.
To go with D&K. Jason made the motion to go with D&K. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Leonard, seconded by Leonard. By a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. So it's been approved to go with D&K with their proposal. Item number 8, street paving, Vermont Municipal Board Bank documents adoption.
Matt, do you want to speak to that one?
Sure. So in your packet, you will have seen that there are 4 documents that the board needs to take action on in preparation for the bond sale for the 2020 paving project. The first of those is a resolution and certificate, which needs an adoption by the board, and then we'll need board signatures. The second is a municipal tax certificate, which just needs to be approved and signed by the board. Third is the loan agreement, which just needs to be approved and signed by the board. And the last is the bond document itself, which needs board signatures. So staff is asking the board to consider a motion to adopt the resolution and approve the 3 documents for issue to the Vermont Bond Bank. I'd answer any questions that you might have about the contents of any of those documents.
A motion that we adopt and approve and sign.
Okay, motion made by Cindy to adopt, approve, and sign. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jason. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, it has been approved.
Thank you, and we'll notify the board when those documents are ready for your signatures in the office.
Excellent. Thank you. We are on now item 9, Lincoln Park portable toilets and discussion.
So the board will recall last meeting, Jim Cameron, on behalf of the Enosburg Initiative, had made a request to the board on behalf of the EI to consider putting some portalets on Lincoln Park. You guys did talk about it a little bit, but decided to postpone making a decision and ask for this to be brought up again at your next meeting, which is tonight. In the meantime, you would ask staff and to look into getting some estimates on what it might cost to put a couple of portalets out there. Gary Denton made some phone calls to Wind River Environmental. We also use them for the portalet that we have over by the diesel #1 plant. And the board will see copies of the estimates that were given to us from Wind River. So they're broken down into 2 different ways. And Gary, if I say anything incorrect about this, just please step in and make a correction. But if you flip to the first estimate that was given on June 24th, the breakdown on that for the 2 portalets would be a total of $250 a month. Yeah, that would be with weekly servicing. So they would come and they would clean the portalet once a week. And then on the second page there, you'll see another breakdown. Gary followed up with Wind River about getting an additional cleaning. So then you would have an extra weekly cleaning. So two cleanings a week on that. And she gave woman that Gary was talking with, Nancy Poirier, gave an estimate for that as well, which broken down came out to $450 a month. So $250 a month for a 1-week cleaning, or $450 a month for a 2-week cleaning. Is that accurate, Gary?
Yep.
Okay.
So do you think we would need 2 or just 1?
Well, one's a handicap one, Jason. One's a handicap and one's a non-handicap.
You did just the handicap?
That's up to you guys. I mean, that's,
I don't know. Would get enough use to have 2 though.
I priced both, so decide if you wanted to use a handicapped or both, or just a handicap. So
Well, if we only go with 1, then we should do the handicap one.
Correct.
My question is, people that clean houses get $25 an hour, and they don't spend an hour cleaning 1 toilet.
Yeah.
With today's standards and COVID and whatnot, would we be comfortable with only 1 weekly cleaning, or would we want more cleanings?
The more cleaning that can happen is probably the better in this time.
Yes, I understand that.
Summer camps, we have to clean our bathrooms 3 times a day.
Yes. We have to clean them after every child.
Jim,
I
would
just
you like
wanted
to
to back
say?
up a quick second. Is this for 1 portalet, $250 a month for 1 portalet, or 2? Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Yep.
That's 2 with cleaning just once a week.
I think the standard one, Jim, is $100 a month, and the handicap is $150, I believe.
Yep.
That's right,
Thanks.
correct, John?
Yep.
No,
That sounded like a portalette back there.
it did.
Was that you, Mr. Cameron?
I've been waiting for a week to go to the bathroom.
There's the fountain.
There's going to be repercussions. Let me be clear.
I do have one more question about the portalettes. I have seen some that actually have the hand sanitizer dispensers right in those, or would
I
these
believe
be?
they do. I believe they do, Cindy, have a hand sanitizer.
Standard.
Even the one that we have over at the diesel, the one that has a hand sanitizer in it.
Okay, just curious.
I have another question. Worst case scenario, like, you know, it gets tipped over or something, like how is that managed?
We call them up and they'll clean it. I mean,
And they do it within like
it'll be extra.
a day?
Oh yeah, we called them up. They'd be there the same day.
So if there's a point where somebody's tipping that thing over on a daily basis, we just scrub the idea and say,
Yeah,
take them and put
I
'em
believe
away.
so.
Okay.
Well, you know, I gotta say, we have that one over on diesel number one, and the only time it gets tipped over if they have really high wind. Every once in a while it gets
Okay.
tipped over, so, or a kid tips it over, but we've had only made once. We've had it tipped over in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
Well,
I wouldn't,
that's good to know. We'd like to have faith in our society, but you never know.
definitely wouldn't expect it to happen much.
Yeah, I think, you know, as Jim said at the beginning of discussion last meeting, this would be an experiment. You know, we'd have to see how it went. And if we had a lot of problems with vandalism and it, you know, it just wasn't the right spot to have something like this, then lesson learned. And, you know, we just stopped doing it. But if it seems to go okay and, you know, we don't have too many problems with it, you know, then maybe it's something the board wants to consider doing on a regular basis, you know, starting, you know, next spring or something on a similar type schedule that we have the one over at the diesel number one building, which gets put out, I think like the beginning of May. Always depends on, you know, it's basically depends on the weather when things thaw out, but, you know, usually around the beginning of May until approximately the end of October.
Yeah, this year was late because of COVID. We didn't dare to put it out till later.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still all for it. I think it's a great idea.
Jim, do you want to add?
Heather, could I have a sec?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, John, thank you, because that's really kind of what, for me as a private guy or a citizen or business guy in the world and volunteering, the idea of just experimenting, trying things, not making some, you know, huge commitment, but at least trying something, not saying, oh, we can't do that or we shouldn't do that. So I really, I'll use the word applaud that approach for that idea. And then as we come to with other things or ask for other things, that idea of not having it be, you know, no government program ever ends, you know, and things need to end if they're not working. And they also need to be tried, not just assumed that, well, we can't do that. So I spoke too much, but thank you for that, John. And I do hope you vote yes. I think it's a nice, positive thing to try. And if it's not working, you have the authority.
Whoa.
Done.
What was that?
That wasn't me. That was Leonard.
I was going to say, Leonard's sitting on his porch and the truck just went by.
That was a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Another
Oh,
question.
that's what's going on. All right.
Another question is, where would you think? What's your vision where those portals should go, Jim? Do you have any vision where those should go?
I think to the extent that they're visible but not prominent, if that makes sense.
Maybe like by the bandstand somewhere, like we usually put them like
that. To me it makes some sense, because we could come up with a tasteful sign, get your approval or whatever, that says public restrooms, you know, here for the summer, that kind of thing. But something simple, not big, and just let people know that they could look and go use them.
Right. Because we've had, I mean, I've noticed a lot of people in the park in the last month. It's like, you know, it's been.
Yes, there's a lot more people in the park. Dave and Sally Trihorn talked about that. I was in the village today for quite a while, and I saw 2 or 3 out-of-state cars of people driving around with bikes, kayaks. I met a couple that came down up from Waterbury and went into Montgomery and were walking around Enosburg. They're bikers, they're kayakers. They were looking to get out of Dodge, you know, from where they were, and try something new. And those are the kind of people, in my mind, that you want to come into the village, spend their money, think about living here, help out, that kind of thing. You know, it's just it's an inviting thing. When I went to that Westford Green and there's public bathrooms on the Westford Green. It's like, wow, you know,
Mhm.
it just means come in the door. It means we're happy to have you here, not, you know, no public restrooms, you know, it's a negative.
Well, and two thoughts to add with that, Jim. Like, I know that community members have been looking for a couple of years now to find public access for toilets, like easily accessible toilets. And also, often people would say, well, divert people to the library, but that's not really much of an option right now when they have like a 10-person limit in the library and shortened hours. They used to be open until 7 or 8, I think, and now they're closing at 5. So they're more limited.
I noticed a lot of businesses were closing at 2 today. The coffee shop, Feldman's, they closed down at 2 on the weekdays. Maybe they're longer on the weekends. So it's just a comment about what's going on in town.
Yeah, I talked to Ben and Kelly Maddox at the Flying Disc about that, and they've been doing that since they reopened. They closed down for a while because of COVID-19, and when they decided to reopen and try things again, that was part of their decision, was they were only going to stay open until 2 and see how things went. And so yeah, they had said to me that that schedule seems to be working well for them, at least for now. And you know, probably at the end of the summer, they'll reevaluate where they are, how business has been going, and you know, if things seem like they're going really well, maybe they'll, you know, add some more hours on, get closer to what the normal schedule was.
Is there any restrooms under the Bainstein?
There's one bathroom, Leonard, but it's not very good. It's
No, okay.
I wouldn't recommend anyone
I wouldn't recommend it down there.
go down there. You know, we do have a public restroom down at the village office that we allow people to use, you know, when we're open. We're not open to the public though right now. So, but you know, when things were normal, you know, if someone came in the office and said, hey, do you guys have a restroom we could use? We would let them use the restroom we have down on the first floor here. It's, you know, it's handicapped accessible. It's a good bathroom, and, you know, but it's kind of, it's not right downtown. It's a little ways away. So I think people are a little reluctant to walk all the way to the south end of Main Street to use a bathroom in the village office. But if people ask, we let them use it.
That's good to know. But it definitely sounds like even some of the restrooms that normally would have been available to people aren't available right now.
Yeah, that's true. Even in, you know, businesses, private businesses that typically would have allowed that, a lot of places now just, they don't want to deal with all the cleaning issues, and so they're making their bathrooms off limits to the public.
Right. And just to reiterate, so like there's no liability of like on the village perspective with the cleaning of it, because it's on the whomever we borrow them from, the toilets from, correct?
Yeah, we rent them, yeah.
Well, that would be my argument. I mean, we don't own them. We're renting them as a service. So it's up to Wind River to make sure that they're meeting all the health code requirements in order to, you know, have them properly maintained under these circumstances.
Do we need to carry any kind of additional insurance to having these put in the park?
I could speak to that.
Why don't you go ahead, Matt?
Yeah, your existing liability coverage and umbrella coverage would cover that activity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion, or do we want to move on to a motion? This would be a motion, right? To go forward.
Yeah, it would be best probably if you know, just so it's official, whatever your decision is.
Okay.
I guess also, are you deciding on one portalet, 2 portalets? You know, that's another thing to ask about, how many portalets you want.
Thank you.
I'd like to offer up that, or suggest that you get 2 for 3 months. August, September, October. Just that's it. Set up the contract that way, not like a discussion later on kind of thing, and should we keep them or not? That way it's the experiment. You got 3 months to look back on. That's my opinion, suggestion.
As devil's advocate, I would suggest that you consider perhaps doing 1 And if the activity volume seems to be high, you can always add a second one at any point in that process.
How would we know about the activity, like the use? Just people's observation of how much. It's not
You
like
don't want to really know the answer to that.
Jim,
There
does have a
volunteer from the
point.
company?
Come
Open the
on,
cover.
woman.
there's a practical way, I suppose.
It's a portalet. They're everywhere all the time. The world runs on portalets.
If you see a line, I think you can clearly.
Or if you walk by it and there's this aroma.
I'm muting myself.
It's better than a cup of coffee, though. A good laugh.
Personally, I think we should stick with 2. I know it obviously would cost more to do 2, but I think a good trial experiment.
Or how would we know if 2 was needed after the trial?
That's a good
I
question.
don't know. I think 1 was good enough. But
What do you think, Leonard?
I'd say we go with 1 for 3 months. That's my feelings.
So just a single one that's handicap accessible for 3 months.
Handicap accessible, yes.
Yep, absolutely.
If I can offer, if the board's careful about how they word this motion and they want to give staff the authority to add a second as need presents itself, you could certainly phrase it that way.
I was going to do that. I motion that we employ 1 portalet for 3 months with the option to add another one at any time.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Leonard. Any
Yes.
further discussion? Those who approve say aye.
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 Those who oppose say nay. Okay, the motion's been passed. We're moving on. We're
are we doing 1 cleaning or 2 cleaning?
Oh, 2 cleanings. 2 cleanings.
2 cleanings a week. So should we redo that motion, or
You can make an amendment to say 2 cleanings a week if you want to, Cindy. I think it was your motion.
Oh, okay. Well, to amend mine with as a handicap portalet with 2 cleanings a week.
okay, is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
Seconded by Jason. Okay. All those who approve the amendment for 2 cleanings a week say aye.
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 Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Okay, the amendment has been approved. So we will go with 1 portalet for now. With staff is able to increase that to 2 portalets, and we'll do 2 cleanings a week for 3 months.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And earlier during public comment, I couldn't get unmuted. Is it possible the guys just have less than 5 minutes to just tell you a few things? Update you?
I'm okay with that. Is the board okay with that?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, Jim?
Just to update you on a couple things. The tri-horns continue to be outstanding, folks. If you have noticed the east side, I know I talked about it 2 weeks ago, but I was there again today. So the tri-horns are working there 4 days a week, getting that building ready to repaint and put it together. Shauna wanted some help taking down the Christmas lights. We had a volunteer thing this Friday. The tri-horns got there today. So all the old Christmas tree lights that had been on the big tree next to the Masonic Temple have been shed and gone away. And so that was just nice of them to do that today. Shauna and her group, whether it's the EBA or others, we have many rolls of lights. So my guess is this winter holiday that we'll install new lights on that tree. Whatever. The Masonic Temple people continue to be helpful and supportive. Jason's left his lift there, so now we're using his lift in the community, which is really nice. It's right there all the time for people to use. That's one. There was another one just slipped my mind, but if you didn't know, Enosburg was on a VPR segment this week, and it was generally very well received by a lot of folks. So it's there as a podcast, it's there as a story for you to see. And the other thing just popped into my mind, which is flags and flagpoles. So this is just positive information, no stress at your park. There's a gentleman in the community named Jim Croft, and he's all about flags. And so he asked to talk to the powers that be about the flagpoles in the park. And at this point, it's the Legion that owns them, controls them, whatever, I think. And I don't care if it's the village. It's not about from power control issue. It's just about the flags and flagpoles. So he asked for a meeting. So I, and Shauna met with the steering committee or the executive committee of the Legion last week and had a conversation about what the flagpoles could be or should be in the park. And in the next 3 weeks, the Legion is supposed to come back with a plan from their perspective, the numbers of flagpoles, the sizes, there's between 5 and 7 flags that you could theoretically fly. And this isn't actually about money to you guys. It's more just about another improvement in the park. We already have a plan, we think, where we can start getting some money for those things. So the hope would be in the next, probably by spring, maybe fall, I don't know, we might come to you with a proposal to install new flagpoles, and light them, do a lighting package. So that group is supposed to be making up the plan to bring back the initiative folks to figure out how to pay for it, basically. And again, we have some real positive ideas about where we can get some of those funds to put that in place. Richard Broder pointed out that there's a light on a pole that's shining towards the flags. Are you aware of that, Gary?
I believe the light department did put a light for the flags.
Is it functional at all? Does
I thought it, because I think Leonard brought it up last fall that the light was out. I thought they replaced the light, so I'm not sure. I've been in there at dark, so I don't know if it works or not, but I believe.
I don't notice it on at night, and I leave town sometimes, and it's dusk or whatever, don't notice it. But I just asked somebody to take a look at that.
The light, they got a new light on there now. The old light, they had changed a few things on it, and they finally took it down. They put a new one on.
Okay.
I believe
Did
it
somebody
works.
there know for a fact that there's a light on at night on the flags?
Yes, I saw it.
Recently?
It's on the pole on the street.
Is
Yeah,
it
but
working?
working. Is it working?
It was the other day.
Okay, all right, thank you. So that's great. So I can let Richard Broder know that, and that'll make him feel warm and fuzzy. We have an initiative meeting. We are having them outside on the porch at the Quincy. So Thursday night at 5:30 is our initiative meeting. We've been getting anywhere from in person or online, anywhere from 8 to a dozen folks. I'm not sure what all of that means going into summer and COVID and Zoom, etc. So just letting you know that we're
Also, we do get the poles or location. Just be aware of that water line that goes around the back of the fence and stuff.
Yep, understood. We'll obviously, if something happens, we'll be coming to you with a plan and coordinate with you, just like we did with the fence in a nice way. It turned out great. You guys did a great job after we were done. I mean, it's great. That space is so much nicer to me.
The park looks fantastic.
It does.
Just
It
like
looks
everybody's collective
terrific.
work is just.
Yeah, I see people's heads turning when they're driving by the park. They're not
I
looking
mean,
at it.
a fresh paint of paint for the cannon in the benches made a big difference too.
Yep.
Oh, so that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because somebody said, I didn't know we had a cannon. It's like it pops. It's a beautiful, the park's beautiful. Everybody's work. Thank you.
It's really, really good.
Jim, did we have a conversation about flagpoles? Was it last meeting 3 weeks ago?
I brought up that I'm going to be painting them in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
That was it. You guys gave me permission. We're going to knock them down, quote unquote, knock them down and put a coat of paint on, freshen them up.
But so you're just talking about going further with the cleanup with them down the road?
Well, actually, we're talking about installing new white poles. You know, that's what Jim Croft, I don't mean to dismiss him. It's just not my bailiwick. It's not my thing, but he's he's willing to lead the charge.
Mhm.
So that's great. That's his thing to tell us what the charge should look like. And then we're going to try to help make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to number 10, manager's report.
First, I want to just let the board know that the LED street lighting replacement project is now complete. This was a project we talked with the board about over the winter with the goal of getting this done over the spring and early summer. So we have met that goal. The project is now complete and just wanted to let the board know that. So all the street lights in the village now are LED lights.
John, it looks like, if I can stop you, Cindy has a
I
question.
have some comments about that. That's great that they're all finished and we're saving money. Yay. However, I've had a few residents, and it never occurred to me because I'm from Los Angeles, there is no darkness, about how the lights don't really shine where they should, or they're shining just kind of into space. And like I said, it never occurred to me that you can actually focus those lights, like in the park. When people are walking at night, they can't see the roads or the sidewalks because the lights are either too high up or the light is not is too diffused. They're bright up top, but not where people actually need to see. So I don't know if there's any way that they get angled or something put over them so they're more focused. I do know that my bedroom, even with the shades on it, I have to be just in the right spot in my bed because the street light is so bright.
So I have
that
heard,
it shines.
Cindy, I've heard the same thing too from other people about the brightness. Is it just the bulbs, or is there just something we can do to adjust them?
Well, I
That
mean,
is
there's
good.
always things you can do in the 21st century. If you've got the time and the money, you can do anything you want. So, you know, I'm not trying to be catty here, but I have a pretty good idea of, you know, where this all started from. Be that as it may, you know, if you want us to take the lights down and, you know, do like a full-blown lighting study of the community to, you know, evaluate every light post in the village and how it should be positioned, we can do that. And, you know, there are engineering firms out there in the world that specialize in that. It is a specialization. You know, our line crews are not lighting specialists. They are not going to be able to, you know, tinker around with the lighting and the wattage to, you know, determine where every resident in the village wants that light to be focused on. They just,
Oh no,
I mean,
that's
they
not
don't have that skill set. But if you guys want, I mean, we can hire a lighting engineering firm to come in and do a study. It won't be cheap, it's expensive to do that. But there are companies out there that do that, and that's what they specialize in. And they can, you know, they can do a lighting study of every light in the village if that's what you would like, and, you know, adjust kilowatts and I forget the technical word, but lumens. That's the word I was looking for, lumens, which is, you know, the amount of light actually being dispersed out of the light itself, the brightness, the quality of the brightness of the light. And I mean, they'll do that if the board feels, you know, that's a priority issue. We can do it. We don't have anything budgeted in this year's, you know, budget to do that, but if you want to talk about it for 2021, you know, and have us hire a firm to do a lighting study of the village. And, you know, as I said, it's not going to be cheap, and their solutions will not be cheap either. I mean, it'll cost more money to go back in and replace bulbs and put different shading mechanisms on there. And, you know,
Well,
but
I wasn't suggesting that. I was just, maybe we just need to do a little research, because like our lamps in our house, they have shades. Maybe there's just something like in high traffic areas, like around the park, so people can see. I mean, it doesn't have to be everywhere.
So what you're saying, Cindy, is people are not having a lot of light with when they're walking at night.
Right.
I
Yes.
seem to think
Oh,
the
sorry.
sidewalks and roads seem lit up just fine at night, and even more with the LEDs.
Okay, I haven't been out at night yet. I just know about the one across the street from my bedroom, but
So possibly, oh, Matt, do you want to add something?
I would just add for the board's information that a component of the scoping study that is being, thanks to your action tonight, going to begin shortly, pedestrian level lighting is an aspect of the evaluation of that scoping study. As you probably are aware, the streetlights that exist today are for traffic. They're in order to illuminate the street brightly enough so that vehicles can see pedestrians or other vehicles, and ensure that, you know, there's traffic safety. They're not designed for pedestrian lighting, but the scoping study will be looking at pedestrian level lighting, at least in the downtown Main Street area and the Depot Street areas.
Thank you, Matt.
thank you.
Are we, shall we get back to, maybe hold on to this conversation and get back to the manager's report?
Sure.
it's totally up to you guys. You know, we can go continue through that, or we can talk more. I guess I would kind of like some direction though, since this has come up and there seems to all of a sudden be a lot of criticism over this. I mean, are you guys asking us to take a particular action, or I guess I'd like some clarity so
No,
I
not
know what
yet.
to do about this.
I mean, one of the people that I talked to has done some research, and he's willing to come do a presentation if we want. I was just thinking us individually. I mean, I can do it, you know, Google search, whatever on.
Cindy, we had that
Yes.
presentation last year. He came, if you're talking about Mr. Willie, he came last year and did the
Yes.
presentation last year.
Yeah.
And he called us after the lights were put up, and we're going to do a little experiment up by where he lives and put some shades on and see what that makes a difference or not. Is that correct, John? I think that's what we talked about.
Yeah, yeah. Luke, you know, just being, you know, very blunt and honest here, Luke has complained. To my knowledge, Luke is the only resident that has complained about the lighting, and he complained about a year ago to us when he first had LED lights put up near his residence. He didn't like them. He felt they were too bright. As it turned out, he then ended up moving shortly after we put the LED lights up on Pleasant Street, where he lived at the time. And but shortly after that, he ended up moving to West Berkshire Road. But have a good night, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
But then we got the order to do all of this LED lights in the village. So now West Berkshire Road also has LED lights. So now he's upset about that, because now they're in front of his house again, and he doesn't like the LED lights.
Okay, well, I wasn't trying to single anybody out, but he was not the only one, is what I was saying.
Okay.
Okay.
He's the only one that we have heard
We've
from.
heard about.
And we've heard a couple of times from Luke. He's been very adamant about that. We're trying to work with him around his house, and we did tell him when we could get it scheduled, we would have our line crew go up and attempt to do some shading of the lights around his home because it seems to bother him a lot. And use that as an experiment to see whether it made a lot of difference or not.
So
Okay.
could we use this, come back to this after you do that? You put the shades on there and see what happens?
Yep.
We can take it from there after that.
Sure.
Sure. And Cindy, if you, I mean, we can do the same in front of your home if you're saying, you know, you've
No,
got a
like I
problem with
said.
it coming into your bedroom. You know, we can, I can talk to Dave Westcom and see if he can schedule some time to maybe try and do some shading. If there's a light that's shining right into your bedroom, I can understand that might be annoying.
I'm actually fine with, like I said, Los Angeles, there's no dark anyway. And as a resident, it's not any one of those things I would even think that I could bring up to the board. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things as a normal resident you would think of complaining about. But
yeah, it's kind of interesting, and you can probably tell a little bit frustrating for me because, you know, a few years ago, the complaints we had about lighting was there's not enough and we need more. You need to put up more lights and they need to be brighter. And we've been, you know, trying to approach the lighting in the community from that perspective, that people want more and brighter lights. And now all of a sudden we're being told, no, we don't want more lights and we don't want them brighter anymore. We want less lights and we want them darker.
right,
And
can't
so
make
it's a little,
everybody happy.
yeah, it's a little bit frustrating.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
To me, this is one of the things, if you live in the village, if you don't like the lights, go move into the country.
Okay, Leonard.
Telephone pole too, right, Leonard?
I thought this was the country.
Oh, Cindy.
Okay, well, I'll continue down then with manager's report, and seems satisfactory the steps we're going to take, and if the board wants this issue of lighting to be brought up on an agenda, let me know and we can put it on there as an agenda item.
You got it. Thank you.
Next, I wanted to make the board aware that the Vermont legislature has appropriated $8 million of federal COVID-19 response funding, which is being given to the state of Vermont by the federal government toward aiding businesses and individual customers of telecom and electric utilities facing arrearages as a result of COVID-19. The Department of Public Service will oversee the distribution of these funds, and we expect to hear more details about this as the state makes that information available. But last week they did make this announcement, the state made this announcement that they are designating $8 million towards assisting businesses and individuals that are in arrearages with their respective telecom and electric utilities. So we'll wait and see how that money gets distributed. Also want to make the board aware that we received official notification that the Village of Enosburg Falls electric utility rate increase has been approved for the full amount requested at 4.88%. So just that was really smooth. That went very, very smoothly. I've gone through 3 electric rate increases in the 16 years I've been here with the village, and this was by far the smoothest. And just want to give a thanks to Steve Farman, who is the manager of rates and planning at Vermont Public Power Supply Authority, for his tremendous assistance through this process. Steve did a great job with this, and Matt Miner as well deserves some thanks for this. Matt did a lot of prep work with Steve as well on this. So that process went very, very smoothly. I just want you guys to know that, and it is now approved. I see Matt's got his hand up.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, John, for the board's information, the new rates have been placed into the forecast for the electric department. So the financial statements that you received effective June 30 closing include the new rates taking effect for services delivered on or after July 1st.
Thank you.
Attached to the manager's report, you will also find a section from the Vermont Planners Association press release announcing that Enosburg Falls Vital Village Master Plan has been named as 2020 Plan of the Year in state of Vermont. So that is official now. The Vermont Planners Association has released that statement, and their press release that they prepared has been sent to the St. Albans Messenger and the County Courier. We have also posted it on our village website, and it is official now. Just again, want to say congratulations to the Enosburg community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great work.
Yeah. And next, want to also point out, attached to the manager's report, you'll see an article on Brian Ovitt. Remember, Brian is our chief operator at our wastewater treatment facility. Over the winter, Brian had spoke with the Board of Trustees about his interest in becoming a member of the Green Mountain Water Environment Association. This is the association that deals on a statewide level with water and wastewater issues across Vermont. And Green Mountain Water Environment Association has now named Brian as a new member of their board of directors. So I think that's a great credit to Brian that they were interested in having him on the board of directors and have now appointed him there. And nice little article there that they wrote in their quarterly publication magazine. So if you haven't looked at it yet, I'd encourage you to take a look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's it for manager's report.
Nice. Thank you, John. I was wondering with the press release, well, and the other news with Brian too about Front Porch Forum and the village's Facebook page too. I noticed that, I don't know who manages the Facebook page.
Lori Stanley has sort of followed that and made changes, postings to it. Matt, I don't know if you've gotten a little more involved with that since you've been with the village or not, but.
I have. The board might recall that, some of you might recall that the village had to remove its Facebook presence after Facebook changed its rules about organization accounts. You have to be an individual to have an account on Facebook. So we reactivated a village page about 2 months ago in preparation for the rate case, mainly, in order to have another channel to reach out to the community for notification. It is active. We don't put everything that goes on the website on there necessarily, but we certainly could add those posts. I would take direction from the board or John regarding Front Porch Forum. We do have an account with that and have the ability to post there as well. So at the board or John's direction, I'm happy to post whatever at either of those locations.
I'm all for sharing as much as possible. What does everybody else think?
That sounds good to me.
I will just say that, you know, when we did this, when we established these sites, we had, you know, a long discussion about how this was going to be handled. I realize many of you are relatively new to the board, but it was decided years ago when we established these sites that we have a no response policy. So in that way, you know, people can post comments if they want to, but we are not going to respond to those comments. So some of you may not be aware of that, but otherwise it becomes a huge time drain, you know, from staff. And I'm sure you guys have seen this or at least heard about it before, where, you know, you get people that are very adamant about a particular position and they just want to constantly engage in an argument over Facebook or Front Porch Forum, and it becomes a huge time sucker if you're constantly having to respond to, you know, people's opinions or comments on these kinds of you know, social media sites. So just letting you guys know that we will post things on there, but we will not respond to comments.
And
I
the other,
think these are both good things to post on there.
yeah,
These two articles.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Jason.
I think these two articles would be something that would be good to post on.
Yep.
just some good happy
places.
news.
Yeah.
Cindy, were you going to say something?
Well, we could use some happy news, but I tend to agree with John too on the Facebook front.
I mean, the other way
Yeah,
around
not
is,
responding, just posting them.
Yeah. No, we can post these. I was just, as a matter of information, because as we were talking, it occurred to me, you know, because we do have several relatively new board members on here, they may not be aware of that policy.
I don't think I was, so it's good to know. But yeah, I think you know, it's really good, cheerful, positive information, and maybe it coming directly from the village would be good. Otherwise, you know, as private citizens, we could make posts ourselves, but I don't know. That's just where I'm coming from. It might just might be really nice for the village to hurrah.
Yeah. Matt, you want to take care of posting them on those two sites?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
And I had another question, and Matt and Sean might be able to help with this. So the appropriations for the telecom and electric rate payers, is this related to the communications hub? CUD, is that the abbreviation? Communications? No, not related, or I mixed
Completely
up?
unrelated topics.
Okay.
This specifically is an allocation the state has made of a portion of the federal funds that came down in the $2.2 billion in the CARES Act. The DPS still has not made any decisions or announced any of those decisions about how they might get those funds out to help support members of the community with their payment of utilities. But that's got nothing to do with the Communications Union District.
Okay. I think I have internet access on the brain probably a little too much from work.
It is a hot topic right now.
It is. Okay. Thank you. Any other conversation with the manager's report? Move on to number 10 or number 11, other business.
I had something, but we can table it till the next meeting about going paperless. I know I like to have a hard copy on a lot of this things because I'm working with an iPad mini here. But as far as pay stubs and we could start with just village employees, direct deposits. Is it really necessary to mail out pay stubs? Could we just email something? Just food for thought, because, you know, we're using envelopes and stamps that cost money. And it's the 21st century, recycle, yay. So maybe we can broach this subject at a later date. I know this is kind of a long meeting tonight, so just wanted to bring that up.
So you don't want to have a conversation right now, Cindy? You just kind of want to prep us for talking about it in the future?
Yes.
I was going to mention the VPR article that Jim mentioned that came out yesterday. It was on the front page of VPR. My grandmother was in Burlington, and when they found out she was from Enosburg, they knew where Enosburg was, and they were really excited. So that was great.
That was a nice article.
Yeah, it'll get people to come into Enosburg to use the porta potties.
Right on.
Yeah. Any other business?
Oh, I was wondering if anyone heard anything about that church bell that was possibly getting donated.
No, I haven't heard anything more about it. Last I knew, it was unavailable.
Is there somebody whose project that is?
Well, I know the Historical Society is working on that as well, because Daryl, I believe, has a steeple and a bell housing that, you know, he's given to the Historical Society, but we may no longer have a bell to put in it. And that's all I know right now.
Okay. So I imagine somebody will get on the agenda if they want to look more into using village property.
I guess so.
Okay. That's a good question, Jason. If we're all set with other business, I will entertain a motion to move to executive session for the purpose of discussing negotiations in which premature public knowledge may compromise the position of the municipality.
I motion we move into executive session.
Okay, Cindy made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jason seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor say nay. Okay, the motion's been approved to go to executive session.
Okay, welcome back to the main session. We're going to go through a roll call. Cindy?
Cindy Minor.
Jason?
Jason LaRose.
Leonard?
Leonard Sharon.
Okay. Heather Moore, present. John?
John Elwell.
And Matthew?
Matt Minor, present.
Okay, we're all present. The phrase I was supposed to use. There was no action taken during executive. Got that? Okay. There's nothing further on the agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Cindy. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Leonard. All in favor say aye.
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 All those who oppose say nay. Okay, meeting adjourned.
All right, great.